Hello everyone, we're back again. Gonna go over a couple of brand new trade setups and some things to keep an eye out for. And of course, as always, we're gonna review the trades that we did look at a couple of weeks ago. Of course, we have to at least acknowledge, remember, trading is a high risk activity. It's as easy as you make it on yourself, but please know that I practice high risk and high reward trading styles. You can follow similar steps with safer, lower risk and lower rewarding trading styles. Just a little bit more information. Remember that when we're calculating pips, we're using the actual pip count, meaning points, divided by 10. So every broker has some differences, and at the end of the day, it's still going to come down to your particular country, your particular currency, leverage, and everything. That's a very individual experience. Having said that, we need this kind of universal norm just to kind of show what's possible. Obviously, choosing a lot size based on percentage of risk and reward and managing accordingly instead of using a flat lot size is a much more duplicatable approach in terms of how to compound your account safely. Just a quick recap of what we've accomplished so far. Of course, I have to at least show the 2022 results because, well, this is kind of what we've been working off of. So this is all of 2022, about 5,122 pips. You can see, really it's only counting from about August, so it's less than, 3 months, the last quarter of the year. Remember, this is going every other week, so the first and third Tuesday of the month, we're doing these live public. The whole purpose is not to show that every trade is an amazing trade. The purpose is to show you that you don't have to have amazing trades all the time. You have to have great management and great risk to reward and good common sense in terms of how you're managing and you're choosing your lots. And you can be profitable. You can find success in this industry through a multitude of different strategies and approaches. It comes down to consistency, right? So this is what we've accomplished for 2022. This was on January 17th is when we looked for these 4 trades. Notice how good, bad, and ugly, this is as real as it gets. We'll go take a look at how these actually performed in terms of the chart view. Needless to say, this week right here, we were waiting and waiting and waiting for these moves to play out. Many of them did, but we were early. And that kind of comes with the territory. None of this is perfect, and it doesn't need to be. So rather than hiding losses or saying it's impossible or shaming them, I want to include them. I want to show you that even with weeks like this, and I don't think we've ever had a week like this, you can still have tons and tons of success and tons of profit. So remember, this is how we are defining everything. You know exactly where we're placing our stop losses, when and how we are protecting our profits. It's already defined meticulously well, and you know exactly what we're doing. So I implore you to follow along these trades, get a demo account. If you don't know how to do that, go to the link tree in the bio. You can go ahead and download any one of those brokers, sign up for a free paper trading account. Go set up your account, do all the things you need to do, and just get comfortable with the platform. Get familiar with MT4 and just the inner workings of the software itself. And then from there, follow along with these trades and see what your account, paper trading or not, would look like in, say, 3 to 6 months. Okay, so you guys already know from the spreadsheet what we just looked at, we were looking at 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are the 4 trades we looked at. Notice how we were looking on 117, which is technically 118 at 100. And let me hit, you guys can see that way down here, right? So it's actually technically 118 at 100 o'clock, right? 100, if you will. But you guys get the idea. So starting with the 1, the good one, right? The winning of all 4 of these. Here is Australian NZD. So we were looking in around here on 118 at the 1 o'clock hour. From where we were looking, this moved over 112, 120-ish pips, give or take. Beautiful trade. We were late to the party, but caught it along with the breakout. Great way to be. Obviously, that one was a winning trade. So I'm going to go ahead and take that off of our watch list. I'm going to hit O, remove all these drawn objects, and now we're going to move on. So first, I always go over trade reviews. And the reason why I do that is just to show the duplication, to show the real. Because everyone can show winning trades and how perfect every system is, which is a bunch of nonsense at the end of the day anyways. Needless to say, I want to show you that you can have success in this market with good and bad, with all the different parts that come with it, because there are losses. Last, on the 17th was pretty rough, and then we waited to that last week of the month to really catch any of the moves we were looking for. I guess they were holding out for some news and some NFP and year-end report stuff, but needless to say, it's still not a bad way to be. So here's where we were looking. We did officially activate, so this followed our rules, saying, hey, we have our trade idea, which did repaint. We need the break in the continuation with the fractal. We technically got it. And of course, going from the past couple of fractals, you've got approximately 100, 120-ish pips of the drawdown. Now, was this trade, eventually correct? It was. Do I still think that this has quite a bit more room to the downside? I do. But in all fairness, this, according to the rules we have set and the management that we're using, was a losing trade. This is, again, as real as it can get. So, 0, not 0, oh. Remove that. We took a loss on this. I took a loss. Gold. Listen, Linda, listen. Here's where we're at. Of course, this made it one more level. I've been very fortunate to catch the majority of this sell in and around here. We activated. This does technically hit the 50 pips we need, then we say we need to protect. We continued to skyrocket to the upside. So this continued to make several more levels before finally getting one wave and 2 waves to the downside. Now, granted, this hits that 50 pips, which we can record because it's part of the rules that, again, we already have set. So remove this right here. All done. Let's take it off of our watch list. Ta-da! And EURGBP was the last one. Here's where we were looking, right around here, which is 118, right? 2 o'clock. Again, we get about 32 pips from this, but instead we pushed up another ATR, made a triple top, and now we're finally moving to the downside. This week was not the best of all the weeks that we've had, and that's part of trading, unfortunately. So technically speaking, EURGBP and gold both follow the rules to say, hey, we got our 50 pips. But I did go ahead and count that as a loss just because it continued to make multiple levels. So however you guys write that in your books, it's up to you. Totally an individual experience. Let's move on. So as you can see, I've marked up a couple of new trades. I don't want to milk and baby those trades, although again, I do think there's quite a bit more room to the downside. This is EURGBP on the 4-hour. We've got a lot of play. Gold still has another wave to complete. We've got 1, 2, consolidation and a pullback before we get the third. Euro USD, same story. Quite a bit more room to the downside. But we're going to leave all those in the past and we're going to look to the future. So starting first, we've got an index. I'm going to go back to the 1 hour because we're always using the 1 hour. Here's where we're at. Here's our simplicity sell signal. Okay, we did get the continuation and we have moved. We've come all the way back up to retest, and where we retested is really in this window. These are those liquidity voids that I'm constantly looking at, right? For those of y'all who have worked with me for at least a little while. Notice how we did gap down. First and foremost, we have filled that gap as of right now. Back to the current time frame, the 1 hour time frame that we do use for classes for this purpose. Here's where we're at. So we don't have a really recent fractal until all the way down here, and we sure are not going to wait that long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be looking for a sell at the break of this support zone per simplicity system. Not to say that's the best possible entry. I would personally, if you were an active trader and you're a little bit more hands-on, I would say definitely consider going down to the smaller time frame and using whatever strategy you do, whether it's simplicity or another one. Look for your entry on the 5 or the 15. It's going to give you a slightly better entry. But for the sake of duplication and consistency, we're going to take it at the break of this structure right here. So if and when we get the continuation of the downside, I'm going to be selling Australian 200 at this price point at 7513. And we'll see. We'll see how and when this goes and how it plays out. If this plays out really well, we've got really great risk to reward here. So to kind of give you an idea, even putting our stop loss all the way at the top plus some ATR cushion, and we only come into this range, we still have better than a 2.6 to 1. Is that perfect? No. But given that your stop loss is so far away, and this isn't even the entirety of the move, this is just the most likely to hit area. It's about 50% retracement of that whole move. Great way to be, right? All the way down to this, you've got a 4 to 1 risk to reward ratio. That's going to give us that perfect retest, although I'm thinking anywhere between the 50 and the 60% retracement is what we're going to see on this pair. So that is Australian 200. Next on our list is GBPAUD. Let's see. GBPAUD, as you can see, we have our buy simplicity signal, right? This has already moved. It's already played out, giving us at least how much of an ATR from where this painted? Let's see. We've got a little bit shy of 1 ATR. Granted, I'd be looking for at least 2 ATR most of these 1 hour moves. We've come back into range, so we're at an even better price from where this painted. So same concept. I am going to zoom in. Here's where we're at. We currently have a triple bottom forming on the bigger time frames. We even have more. Daily was a bit too high. Here's us on the 4 hour. We've shown a lot of signs of rejection. We have a potential bigger time frame head and shoulders, and a lot of different levels of confluence from divergence, as well as indicator presence that says, hey, this might be a good time that we're bouncing off structure to buy. I don't want to wait until all the way in this range. That's way too many pips to wait for. Way, way, way too many pips. So zooming in one more time, we've got a nice little hammer formation and some wicks. What I'm going to be doing is when and if we break this area, okay, I'm going to be looking for the buy. Right in and around this area. I'm going to make this green. Keep it dotted because dotted is pending, right? It's a pen, not sea green. Hold on. Regular green. Ta-da. Okay, so we made it green. When and if we get the break and the continuation beyond this price point, I'm going to be looking to buy this. So again, let's zoom out, make it kind of ugly, hit buy. Let's get an idea of what this is going to look like risk and reward wise. If all we get out of this pair is into here and we put our stop loss prior to current structure, it's still a 4-to-1. 4-to-1 risk to reward ratio. That's healthy given that you're not choking your stop loss. Anybody can get a 5-to-1, 10-to-1 when you're choking your stop loss and it's right, at price and you're not giving it any room to breathe. Much harder to do. You really need to have a lot better accuracy if you're trying to actually let your trade have some room, right? So GBPAUD, how much do we have now? A 3.4-to-1. That's again on the smaller scale of how much we're looking for this to move. So zoom out one more time. That's giving it loads of room. This would be my second major target. Beyond that, I'm looking for this to come all the way up into this window. That would be my third kind of swing target, if you will. And again, we've got a pretty hefty risk to reward ratio. So not a bad way to be. That's trade number 2. All I'm imploring that you do is that you would go to your demo trading account and try this out. Try to say, what happens if I trade or analyze these things for 20 minutes twice a month? Win, lose, and draw, paper trading costs nothing, right? This is a skill set that I think almost anybody has the capacity to learn if they're willing to take the time and, of course, all the personal growth it takes to kind of grow through this industry and all the ins and outs and stuff that you need to know. Trade number 3, EURGBP, 1 hour time frame. You can see we've got our little J low right in here, meaning J sell. Of course, I could not possibly not name it that, right? I absolutely needed to. First off, let's notice we're pretty close to where this actually painted. I wish my words weren't in the way. Okay. So we're pretty close to where this actually painted. That's at this fractal right here. Like literally sitting almost at the exact price point. So we've broken below. Cool. First thing I'm going to do is go ahead and grab my sell line. Okay. What I'm going to be doing is placing my pending sell here. I'm going to zoom in to clean that up a little bit. So zoomed in, here's where the base of this fractal is. Now, to be transparent, this would not be a bad time as it is currently as we speak. Notice how we've come down to retest a previous area of interest. That's all this is, right? The candle prior to the breakout to the upside. That's already been accomplished. So let's look at this from a bigger picture before we go any further. Nice wave up, double top, paid for. Of course, we've got a baby wave, correction, bigger wave. Just looking for a mild enough correction. So this is not the best of all the risk to reward. This is not as good as it can be. This is it on the daily time frame. To retest the bigger part of this move, right, is still not going to give us nearly as much as what we want across the board. It's only about 120 pips to the next area of interest, whereas your stop loss is about 90 minimum if you're using the bigger time frames for stop losses, right? So back to the 1 hour, here's where we're at. Figure, I'm going to use this nice cool little dandy tool we've got. If we're entering right here and we put our stop loss at the previous high plus some room, if all we're getting out of this, notice the area that I'm targeting, if it would let me, ta-da, we still have a 1-to-1, and that's that minimum target area. Is this ideal, perfect? No, it's absolutely not. But is it still potentially profitable? Does it still fit within the rules that I'm looking to fit within? It does. Overall, I'm looking to see a bit more of a move. Come on, baby, move with me. Hold on. Catch up. Cool. I'm looking to see approximately about a 2-to-1. Again, not as high as I'd want it to be, but it's still a great overall trade, great risk to reward, and that only puts us into this range. I'm looking to see it break these zones and retest and push one more wave to the downside, but we will see. So that is trade number 3. Last but not least, something we don't analyze very often is oil. I have to lead by saying we already have a pretty hefty move to the top side. And that makes this trade difficult to discuss. Do I think the trade overall has a great level of potential? I do. Definitely do. So I went ahead and marked, it is green. It's hard to see underneath that red structure area. I'm going to zoom out a smidge. Hold on, why do we have this red line? Oh, that's just price line. I'll fix it. I'll fix it. Anyway, I'm going to leave this at the base of this fractal. And then we're going to chat about it. So I'm going to zoom all the way out, make it kind of ugly. Go all the way to the daily. We've rejected off of this low multiple times, all the way back. How far back? What is this? So what is that? September of 2022. Made a nice little push to the upside, and of course made another lower low. We've really stayed within this zone for, what is that, 5 or 6 different months? Like, that's a long time. That's a decent amount of time. I think it's 4 to 6 months. This is where we're sitting right now, daily time frame. Let's work our way down. We are failing to make lower lows. Once, here's a little spring, twice, 3 times. Let's zoom in, go to the 1 hour. Actually, I'm going to stay right here for a second just so you guys can see the bigger picture. If this is where we're entering and our stop loss is all the way at structure, this doesn't look like a lot in terms of pips because it's really not. But overall, you still got a 2-to-1 risk-reward ratio. And that, again, is not choking your trade. I can't do a pending limit order because I think it's very difficult to prove or duplicate for most people on these calls. But what I can do is this. I would be looking for a pullback before I tried to buy this. I would be definitely looking for this pullback. How would you get that? Again, same concept. I'd be going to a smaller time frame, waiting for this to give yourself a nice little retracement, at least into this area where price has topped before. I'll make that a little bit more apparent all the way into this range. We're just looking for it to retest this previous zone. Once that happens, I would go to a smaller time frame and look for my entry. Definitely a better time to enter than all the way up here. You've already got 1 impulse, correction, 2 impulses. The odds that we're going to get a correction before we get the continuation are pretty stinking high. Just something to consider. Remember, this is only an indicator. This is only technical analysis meets reversal-based indicator. That's it. Remember that we're taking the breaks along the lines of fractal breakouts in conjunction with this indicator. Please know structure is always our stop loss. That's a couple of fractals back. Always using at least a 1 hour ATR cushion. You're always protecting within about 50 pips in general. And of course, last but not least, you can use ATR for your protection and your take profits or areas of interest. Totally up to you at the end of the day. And that's really all I've got. So let me go over to the spreadsheet one more time. As we talked about with gold, gold technically got your 50 pips. Oopsie. It got the 50 pips. However, that continued to push up quite a few levels. So for now, I'm going to leave it as is. I will notate that we technically got our protectable 50, right? If I could type properly. Not a word. Not a word, but protected 50 pips. I will again say all of this stuff is already written out. It's written out, it's recorded, it's public for all to see. So please take this video, go along with it for a little while, go on your paper trading accounts. Don't spend any money on anything or anyone, not me, not anyone, and just see what you can accomplish. Other than that, I hope you guys all have an amazing couple of weeks. We will be launching our website and everything coming really soon, as well as I think I'm going to have a nice little free guide to saying, hey, you've never traded before. What are the top things you need to know that we'll hopefully be publishing, as well as a couple cool new channels and obviously some fintech and all the things that go along with it. So I'm super excited. In our morning calls, I think I can share that too. For the month of January, we got over 49,000 pips in total. We've got 57,000, and this morning was a killer morning. I think in total we got over 40,000 pips personally, just trading. Not a bad way to be, just scalping in and out, going along with the calls that we had made from this morning's class. And overall, I'm excited. But back to the public stuff, please do consider taking this. If you have questions, comments, particular pairs you want me to try to include. In general, I'm just looking for that. I'm trying to do 4 on these live calls, about 20 minutes twice a month, to show you that even this is enough to make yourself financially free. You don't have to have it all together. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just need reasonably good math skills, reasonably good instruction following ability, pretty good system and management that lines up. Have a great day. Take care. Thanks for watching, and God bless.